Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Again, I say the same thing every time. Yeah. Feels like a YouTuber joke. Welcome back to my channel.
Hello.
Welcome back to my channel. Oh my god.
I felt the same way. Yeah, I just like, hey!
This is Jordan Samuel. I was going to say my friend, but I almost said my nutter and my friend, but my nutty friend.
Yeah, nutty friend, that's a compliment.
Okay, that's
a
compliment.
Perfect.
We are once again in my hotel room in LA, and previously when I was filming with Josh, the maid knocked at the door and I know she thinks we were filming a porno. So, hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We've been trying to do this for so long.
I know, years actually.
Yeah. So for the very few people, the 3 people at home who haven't heard of your brand,
yes.
Tell us about you and where you're from. So let's do a checklist. Where you're from, how you got started, what inspired you to do your own range, because it's one thing to be a facialist, I'll give the game away, but then to do your own range as well, because that's a big commitment. So tell us all.
All right, so based out of Seattle, Washington.
Fraser,
yes. Come visit.
I don't know, I love Fraser.
We'll go to Space Needle. So formerly my other life was a professional ballet dancer, and
just give a pause so they all go, oh. We sat down and Jordan put his feet up and they were like...
You know, you can take the boy, what is it? Like you can take the boy out of the ballet, but you can't take the... That's not the saying.
You can't take the ballet out of the boy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Exactly, okay.
Sorry, I interrupted. Shut up.
So ballet, and that was when I found my passion for skincare. I was lucky. I had no issues growing up. Like my skin was just fine. Thanks Mom and Dad. And then I started dancing and performing every night and wearing stage makeup, and I was under hot stage lights and I was sweating and touching and like rolling on the ground and all the things you do when you're dancing, and my skin was awful. And so that led me really into, almost organically, the ballet world into the skincare world. And
define awful. What were the results of having tons of makeup and...
Like congestion out the wazoo. So not bad cystic acne, but it was literally just like bumpy. Like, you know, you could feel it everywhere. Nose, cheeks, chin, forehead, irritation, lots of irritation. I should actually mention this because this is so god awful, but this was, and now it's a miracle I am where I am, but when I was 18 and I had to use cleanser to take my makeup off, I used the hand soap in the dressing room.
Oh, the burn? Pain?
But like I was so dumb, like
well, at least you took it off.
Well, I took it off, yeah.
At least you took it off.
And I took other things off with it, obviously, like
yeah, your skin.
Half a layer of skin, yeah.
Ow.
But that was, you know, fine. And then, so I started getting into products and things that were helping me, and then I was really interested, nerdy in a way, in ingredients and what was working and what wasn't, and things were stripping me and making things worse, and I was confused because it said it was for breakouts or for this or for that, and it just led me on this great path. And then actually I found sort of my aha moment was when I found Kate Somerville's brand. And
all praise the Kate.
Seriously, always and forever. And then I had a few bad injuries, and I thought it was time to move on, and I wanted to go and get my aesthetics license. So that was step 1 after to get into the skincare world. And got my aesthetics license, and Kate's book, Complexion Perfection, which I love.
Still have a copy.
It's so good. It's just like straight and to the point,
yeah,
and covers, yeah, I love it.
Just like her.
Yeah, exactly. Just get it done, check it off, and yeah, it's true.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll link it below, but I did a video with Kate Somerville about a month or so ago, and she just said this line, and she just turned to the camera and she went, "And you're being marketed to, and it does shit for your skin!" And the whole room was like, "Hey!"
And she was right.
Very black and white.
Yes, yeah. And so then Kate actually, so I started doing facials after I graduated from school, but Kate took me under her wing and I started actually training for the brand in the Northwest region, which was a ton of fun and gave me like my wings a little bit to discover sort of what people wanted in the market. So I'd always wanted a brand, but it was not going to happen as soon as I wanted it to, or so I thought. And then I just started rolling with like the way things were going. I would make up I really did like mix up products in my sink at home and do things that you hear about, which seems sort of, you know, hokey maybe, but I was doing it. And I was doing serious mixtures too. I was making shaving creams with like emulsifiers and preservatives, and I'm sure the pH was off and it was all awful, but it worked.
You were trying.
Yeah. And little by little I just kept building oils, mists, things like that. And finally, I knew I wanted to find a chemist and I wanted to find a lab. And I do have a little bit of like an aggressive tenacity, which is I think how we know each other.
No.
And I think I did like contact you on Twitter until you noticed me. I was just like, hi. And this is all true. And I basically did the same thing with this one lab. And I knew that the minimums were going to be way not like in my range. And I said, I promise you like heart, and I'm here and I can do this and this is,
and we'll get there.
And they took a chance on me and now we're there. And so it was a win-win. But that is everything in a nutshell, ballet to skincare.
Wow. And how have you found the change in dealing with the general public as a ballet dancer, and then what you deal with now on the day-to-day? Because I'm safe to say it's entirely different day-to-day life.
Entirely different. So, you know, the nice thing about not the nice thing, but the interesting thing is in the ballet, there is a public life with it, but at the same time, you don't speak on stage. It's very private, and the audience comes and watches you, but then it's...
And just context, like you were top of the game, like you're not like just in...
Oh, yes, yeah.
Not like you're doing it on a Sunday.
Yes. No, I was in a professional, one of the top companies in America, and yes. Thank you. I don't get that much anymore, so I'm enjoying that.
It's impressive. I see the odd picture when it flashes back on like your Facebook memories and stuff, and I'm like, cool, that's bendy. You're bendy. Was bendy. And then moving from that to skincare is a...
So totally different. At the same time, I felt it was therapeutic for me, and in a way, specifically facials, are my daily performance in a way still, where I'm educating and teaching and performing, and it's different and more intimate, but I like that. Though it's very, I mean, now I have a small team of people, but it's still very isolated. It's not the right word, but compared to the company with the ballet and dealing with all of that, it's a completely different day to day, and talking with people on social media and having to answer customer service emails, and it's just a very different, it's a very different.
But you still, like you say, there is still a performance aspect, because I notice it, because I did the same thing, I notice it when I watch you massage.
Oh.
When you massage, you do it like you're performing.
Yeah.
And I do it quite similar. We call it flouncing.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because you're like, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And then you're...
And it's like this. And if music's on in the background, I do it musical too.
I do it to the music. And I had a couple of clients who would come in and I'd say, what kind of music, do you want any music on the music? And they go, oh, I'll just have some like chili peppers or something. And I'm like, how am I going to, I'd be like, da 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 da.
That's amazing.
Literally, I was like, okay, calm down. Maybe we'll just do some classical. Keep it on the background.
But I also feel like the client likes that too.
Yeah.
Because like the rhythmical beats of the music, and then your massage is doing that. But yeah, same thing. So I feel like it is a daily performance.
So from going from doing facials to making product.
Right.
That's another giant leap. See what I did there?
No pun intended.
Well done.
No pun intended. Yes, very much so, and totally different, because one is we're now working with a chemist and having to deal with that, and even the other day I received an email back from the chemist about an ingredient that we wanted to swap out, and she spoke in elements to me, and I was like, I don't know, like, can you say the ingredient? Like, I know the ingredient, but now we're speaking in elements, okay. But it's just a whole different... The formulation side for me is still very artistic and very creative, but then there's the business side, which is, I have, again, the tenacity, but it is a little bit different and a little bit harder for me. And then it's also completely different, than doing facials and having this intimate experience with a customer. However, products, facials are important, but it's your home care that's going to be, is your 24/7, 365, that's going to make the true difference.
Yeah.
And so it's really important for me to spend time educating online, contacting people. I make sure to respond to as many comments as I can on Instagram, and that's all different too, and it's become overwhelming for me. But
hello.
No, well, I message you, and I'm like, how did you do this?
Hello.
It's true, and so, but I do think the two have to be, like,
they
both.
Correlate.
They
totally
correlate
side by side.
To me, textures are so important in skincare products, because if I'm using them in facials and treatments, I know that, and no, texture is not the end-all be-all, of course, but how lovely if you get to put on a cream or an oil or a serum and the texture is right and it sinks in right, and all of those things. Yes, it's my creative side coming out, but it's also my facialist side, and working day in and day
What
out.
feels great on the skin.
Yeah. And how it responds. And two, there's been times where I thought this product was great and I started using it on clients. And I'm like, and their face is bright red. So we're going to pass on this sample.
Yeah. But there's that element when I think there's a difference. You can tell when people come across skincare. If you watch any person in a department store testing something on their hand, they'll sort of get their finger and they'll either do this or they might do this.
Right.
Anyone who works on the skin will sort of take it, do this, get the feel for it, then do this, then probably go up the arm to see how it progresses up the arm, to get the full of how is this going to feel when I'm massaging.
It's so true.
So when you came to doing the product, what did you know you wanted in the skincare and what did you know you did not want in the skincare?
So for me, it really started with, it's sort of like, tell your story. And my story is the ballet. And so I wanted to start with oil-based makeup removers. And that was the first aha moment to me in the ballet, was after I was using the hand soap, to have somebody pass me an oil cleanser. And I was like, this is stupid. And then 2 seconds later, like, And so I wanted an oil cleanser, but again, I wanted the texture to be right. So I wanted it more of like a jelly. And I wanted to remove makeup. I wanted to have some emulsifier so it could lift up. And I wanted fruit acids. And so I wanted to start with cleansing. Like, it is the backbone. It is to me, the biggest part of your regimen. And I wanted to start there. And so I started with an oil-based cleanser, and then I worked into, again, keeping with the story, lightweight, layerable products that work whether you're working out, if you're and everybody is.
We're going to come back to that. That's a great point. We're going to come back to that. Remind me.
But everybody's busy. Whether you're walking down the street or you're working out on the treadmill, like, if you have all of these heavy occlusive, I would rather do 4 light layers than one heavy. I mean, we always talk about this. And so those were the things that it had to be. And then things for my skin that I was having issues with were essential oils, and which they're not bad. I just personally have issues with them. And issues, like skin issues, not like issues like, yeah, exactly. And so wanted to be formulated without essential oils, and just wanted like very effective but gentle products. And there really is this fine line there, but I wanted that was like my main sort of, in my head still is, every time a product comes out, it's like, okay, I want this, if I'm working on a possible asset. And then it's like, well, we have to figure out the percentage, because for my brand and for what I want to bring to the market, it has to ride the wave of like getting results, but I also want it to be user-friendly. Same thing with my retinol. It's a 0.2% in an unscented oil base.
It's a brilliant retinol, by the way.
Thank you. But it's meant to get that result. You can use it every night if you want to. Your face isn't going to fall off, and it's going to nourish.
Don't you love it that you find that when you use that terminology, people, customers and readers and viewers really appreciate the fact that you're just saying it like it is. Your face isn't going to fall off.
Oh, right.
Or your face will fall off.
Yes, exactly.
Because when I say things like that, I know it's made the point. It's crystal clear. I'm so far removed from corporate jargon. I was talking earlier with Josh. So far removed from corporate jargon that if I read a press release, and I'm sure Steph will say the same thing. Stephanie Nicole is in the room being very quiet, which is extremely unusual.
I'm being polite.
But we're going to film in a bit. But we're the same. Like, if I get a press release and it's harvested at dawn by Vestal Virgins and it's whale sperm, and I'm just like, what's it going to do? And, I go back to the who, what, where, why, how.
Right.
The questions of retail.
Right.
Who, where, what.
Right.
Like all the W's, or all the questions, really. I know how begins with an H. Before someone says something, because that's going to happen. How doesn't begin with a W?
And I didn't even catch that.
But, just tell us what it's going to do and how it does it.
Right.
And if you can prove that it can do it, great. If you can't and you have experience, that's also great. Just tell us that, because that's what your customer wants to know. I feel like more and more we're used as the middle vessel for making it into English. Jargon.
Yes, it's
jargon
true.
Busting, and you don't do that. You're just like, this is going to work for your skin. This is what its product's called. It's not called blah, 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 blah.
No, right.
The name is on the box, as it were. So that's what you wanted in skincare. What don't you want in your skincare, in your line? What do you think you're sort of known for and perceived?
So really, what I don't want is the essential oils. For me, I think it's great to have that option to not have essential oils in your skincare. I don't want super high. I'm a fan of most things with actives of being a little bit more often. And so I would rather not have higher percentages. So even if it is the ingredient that's in there, but just not higher percentages. I hate to say I'm not anti-paraben, but I'm not going to put paraben. It would sort of be like...
I'm not anti-paraben, but it would
be brand suicide.
It would be brand suicide to put paraben
Yes.
in. And that the frustration for that with me is that science would tell you that parabens are fine.
Right.
But the culture has now become completely scaremongered, and you can't use them, so you wouldn't put them in. But I understand what you're saying.
So, but parabens I wouldn't. I'm not going to put any dyes in my skincare. I'm not going to put any fragrance in my skincare. And I really shouldn't say no essential oils, because there are things like I love blue tansy, I love chamomile. There are fantastic essential oils that have been proven and serve a really great purpose.
But it's a point of difference. I think it's good to have a point of difference.
Yeah.
It works for all types.
Well, right, exactly.
We were talking at the table last night, which I wish we'd had on video. I wish someone had just filmed that, just for us to keep and watch.
The whole night?
Yeah, the whole night. But only for the people who were at the table, But now Steph's like, only for the people at the table. But... And I've got this, I'm plotting and still writing, it feels like a book at this point, a big blog post about the differences that all the different doctors, the difference of opinion. Because something we come up against all the time as a facialist, or as an expert, or as someone who studied but maybe didn't get qualification, it doesn't mean you don't have the passion or the knowledge.
Right.
Obviously, none of us have ever said we're a doctor.
Ever.
And I get, well, you're not a dermatologist. I've never said I am. But I promise you, if you put me in Sephora, I will point out any product in there that's suitable for any skin type more than a doctor can.
Of course.
And that's the difference, But all of the doctors have a different opinion. All of them. And so I've tried to compose this book, and it's taking forever because there's so many differing opinions. If you go down the line of Lancer, Abaji, Seabag, top of my head, feel free to jump in. Zellens.
Dr. Gross.
Dr. Gross, Barbara Sturm. They all have a different opinion. So I think the interesting thing with your kind of range, and again, like the people we've been talking about in this whole series, you all have a very similar ethos in terms of ethically sourced, buying the highest quality that you can get, anything like that. But you all have little niches of, well, I prefer it this way, and I prefer this way.
Right.
And it all works, and it all works synergistically together, but you have to have your point of difference. And if you can come to the table and say, well, mine's fragrance free, then you're already, you've got an amazing point of difference. So yeah, fragrance is amazing for some people.
Right, exactly. And it tests well. Like it's, if you discover fragrance or certain things in a product, it probably is tested well. Like but does it need to be in there? And for me, no, and for others, no. But yeah, I like to sort of ride that fine line between, I hate to say like scientific and nature meet, but it's true. Like my performance cream is 3% peptides, and
which, by the way, is not cheap to make.
No.
Let's just reiterate, it's not cheap to make. Good skincare shouldn't be super, super cheap.
Well, and that's, another thing too that I educate people on is that I am direct to consumer, and what that means is we are cutting out the middleman. So yes, if these products were at retailers everywhere, they would be at least double the price.
You'd have to double it.
And I wanted to see a luxury, high quality product with a bit more of an affordable price point without it being a cheap product. It's a great value, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Like I understand that.
It's so weird that you said that. We said it's a very similar thing in the talk with Josh, where I said there's affordable and then there's cheap.
Exactly.
And making that distinction we should feel free to say, I think that's cheap.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean it's a good thing. Affordable,
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing, a lot of my readers have been saying recently to each other, because I always see all the comments, people joining that, and you get, yes, you get the odd argument in comments, as we were talking about earlier with Steph, but you also get really good supportive comments. And a lot of my readers were saying, someone said, oh, it's really affordable, it's £24, and this student said, that's not affordable to me.
Right.
But they had a really good open conversation about it, where they were saying, yes, but obviously, like everything, affordability completely depends.
Of course.
It's totally individual.
Right.
So, but when you say cheap, everybody knows what you mean.
Exactly.
Going back to working out, you're the perfect person to ask, Mr. Bendy. So one of my most asked questions is, if I'm going to the gym, do I take my makeup first with wipes? Do I leave it on and sweat through it? Do I do a quick cleanse before? So I always said, do a quick cleanse before.
Absolutely.
If you feel tight, maybe spray something, go and work out, and then just do your routine after you've worked out.
Absolutely, same.
But what do you do if you're out in the day? I mean, obviously you don't wear a face full of makeup, but I imagine you wear SPF, maybe some tinted something if you're doing stuff.
Well, yeah, exactly. So a few things, because I totally agree. And part of my, what is now named the After Show Treatment Cleanser, was that. To have a gentle cleanse, yes, it's a makeup remover, but if you need to like do a quick gentle cleanse before the gym, you're not going to hurt your skin. You're not going to strip your skin. So I wanted that to be sort of the main step for that purpose. Same thing, spray something light. You're going to be sweating in 2 seconds, like just let it be and then do your routine, you know, afterwards. And even maybe do like another follow-up cleanse. There is something I'm working on for this specific thing though, so I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
But something, if you are working out indoors, please take off your SPF. Like, I think working out in SPF is just as bad as working out in your makeup.
Working out in a tin mask.
Yeah. I just, like, and that you're sweating, you're softening the skin, and then your skin's absorbing SPF, which already irritates it.
Or it's blocking it completely.
Or it's, well, right,
and your skin's like...
No, it's so, yes, exactly.
It's an attractive face.
Of course, if you're outside, it's a whole different subject.
Yeah, of course. If you're running, then you have to pick the lesser of two evils, which is use your SPF.
Right. But yeah, no, same, yes, everything you said.
Jargon busting as well.
Yes.
So in terms of next steps, so we have people screaming from the UK, I've got your back, don't worry, saying what's happening, are you coming, are you going to do Europe, like da-da-da. And I always try and remind people that a US brand and a UK brand, they have to align themselves with each other's rules. So the FDA and the EU are completely different.
Yes.
Josh was just saying, in May that they had to do the EU compliance.
Yep.
And I know you're in a similar boat, the same way that a UK-based brand has to do FDA compliance, which is why you'll always have, I'll review something and I'll get really angry emails from people either in America or something I bought in America and I talk about it in the UK saying, you can't buy that here, why would you review it? And I'm like, my viewers are global, like I can't always just do something from one country, but that's why you haven't been as quick as we would want because we're very impatient.
Yes.
Where do you stand with the UK distribution?
So we are in the process of working on the EU certification, which is the biggest piece of the puzzle, essentially.
And a nightmare.
And a nightmare. Unless anybody from, the EU certifier agency is watching. It's been great.
Fantastic.
No, but so we're working on that, and we have a very exciting opportunity and another very exciting opportunity. So there's two things that UK is our second largest market. Yeah. So that is where we are going next.
Okay.
And we're just sort of looking at two different ways of going about it.
And then once you're in the UK, can you do Europe?
Yes, but then that's also another tricky thing at this point in time because of Brexit, is that
I know.
We were just talking with them on the phone and they assured us that whatever we do now will then, yes, carry over into... But yes, we are planning on, once we're in UK, that should hopefully, it will of course include UK and Ireland, and we're hoping to then, yes, expand that into the EU.
Okay, and newness coming up. What's
newness
happening?
Coming up? So not an official date yet, but a non-foaming water-soluble gel cleanser. Very exciting. A little bit of salicylic, completely unscented, beautiful texture, rinses clean, great second cleanse, great morning cleanse, and a perfume, a signature perfume done by a perfume house based in New York, and it's based on my first experience when I moved away from home at 15 to study ballet in Manhattan and smelling all of the people at the ballet and the sort of excitement of going, when you go to a theater and you have all those scents, which sometimes are overpowering and a nightmare, but sometimes lovely. And
I always think of it as, because I don't know, for some reason I tend to go to the theatre more in the winter. So I always think of it as like cold and crisp winter air, and then you'll get like a whiff of like a cigar smoke and an aftershave and a perfume, and it's sort of, I do know what you mean.
And sometimes it creates that like really magical sexiness or uniqueness, and then you have the energy of being in the theater, and the perfumer was a genius and got exactly what was in my head, which most people can't, for many reasons. And that is coming up. And then there are two other things that I'm in the very early stages of working on, which probably won't be until 2019, but I think I can talk about them. There will be an acid type product in the line. We're just sort of figuring out what that will be.
And how to do it.
Yeah, because there's two options we have on that one. And then one will be a cleansing type product that I sort of hinted about for working out.
Ooh.
Yes. I'm going to be big in the cleansing world. And of course my mist just came out. And we fixed the sprayers already. So they're now shipping with not going to poke you in the eye or hit, well, they didn't poke you in the eye.
Don't worry. Now, okay, let's go completely off tangent.
Yes.
What one product do you wish you had invented? that you've seen someone else do and you go, oh, that is an amazing product. I wish I'd invented that.
Oh my God, that's hard.
So mine would be P50.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
One day.
Yeah. God, that's a really good... Oh my...
What do you still buy that you don't make? Or what do you still use? And it can be anything, not just necessarily face.
I know. I think it would be... You just talked about this, but it's the one thing that I have that I splurge on too, is Kate Somerville Deep Tissue Repair.
Oh.
Like, that cream can't be touched.
I mean, come on.
No, I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is, yes, it's a moisturizer. I was trying to think of something like the first person who, you know, figured out that acid works, but it's not, no.
It's really not.
And I know it's not for everybody, but it worked for my skin, it changed my skin. It was the product.
My skin loves that cream. Loves it.
And also the reason I talked about it too was when I was going to aesthetic school and we were doing, you know, 1 peel a day and my skin was literally falling off.
I know.
I asked Kate and she was like, deep tissue repair, and it changed my skin at the time. So that's the one thing that I will continue to splurge on and just pop into my routine whenever I need it. And yeah, I feel like that's a good question.
And any trends that you think, please Jesus, no more?
God.
Let's Steph. Let's settle in for the...
Where should we start?
Steph and I are filming in a minute, so I'll give you mine. Sheet masks.
Did I post it already? Or no, it was a Q&A.
I thought you were going to say I've just made a sheet mask. I was going to Jesus, I'm sorry.
No. It was a Q&A that I... Either is posted, was it posted already? I think it's posted already, and they said, like, what do you think of sheet mask? And I was like, no, because first of all, the ones I have seen just aren't good. They're full of fragrance, full of irritating ingredients, but at the end of the day, it's serum and gauze. So just take a really nice serum, and then wet some gauze and put on, like...
Yeah, and then do what we do as a facialist and put another layer of serum on top.
Right, exactly.
Done. So, you know, there are some that I like, but I just think in a world where we're telling people to move away from wipes, we're encouraging them to use sheet masks, which is a similar material, which is still not great for the environment.
No.
Steph and I were in a store yesterday and we found these wipes and I said, oh, maybe these are actually good, because the first thing it said on the pack was biodegradable. And I thought, well, that's going to be a good starting point. That's one thing. So we picked it up and we looked, and it was like a citrus, wasn't it citrus?
Yeah, orange.
But then it was like, you went like that, and you could feel the alcohol on the back of your hand.
And then, yes, exactly.
And I was like, oh, and we both just went, keep it to clean your hands.
No,
So trends, I jumped in on sheet masks.
Yeah, so I feel like there is a lot, and this might target a brand, and I don't mean to target a brand because there's others doing it, but it's like colored, I was going to say millennial pink, but like the coloring of products, and that's what's like attracting. And photograph, I understand that like Instagram is a wonderful like social media, of course, like we both use it and love it, and it's helped my brand tremendously, and I want my brand to look nice, but brands that are simply not caring about the juice inside the product and are just worried about, which has been an age-old thing, it's not necessarily a trend, but it's now more than ever with Instagram, the magnet masks, the
oh my God, the magnet mask.
You know, it's like all the crap that you just see that like, no, just stop.
And and then we'll touch on it because we can do it in a separate video, but the term skincare hack.
Oh, no. No, skincare hacks, no.
There's just no hack. That's the hack. The hack is, there is no shortcut.
Well, and to me the hack is, okay, if we want to talk hack, it's take my treatment cleanser and add some of the hydrate serum if you're feeling a little dehydrated.
Here's a hack. Make your own sheet mask with a little bit of medical gauze.
Right.
And your serum, dampen it, and
Exactly, so yes, hacks.
In that way, that's a hack. But when hack is used as a, what can I do to cut corners?
Yeah. No. And I've never been fans of the Biore strips, which isn't a trend either, but then it turned into the charcoal peel-off mask, which has finally gone away, it seems.
I think so.
Because
I mean, charcoal is still everywhere.
Yes.
But I think the peel-off thing is hopefully...
it's magnet mask time.
Who has the energy for that?
And why?
Who has... like what? And it doesn't do anything.
Right, I know. The mask is probably lovely, or sure, whatever. And then...
But when you say sure, whatever, it means we all know you mean it's not. The mask is probably lovely, sure, whatever. It isn't. We're so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look forward to seeing you in the UK very shortly.
Yes.
I'm saying very shortly. I'm just going to put you on a ticking time bomb.
Well,
okay.
I think that's great. We're moving. We're trying.
You're hustling. You're hustling. But you basically, it's like waiting for a license to open a store or create a new building, or there's so much paperwork.
And then there's hurdles too if something doesn't pass a EU
Yeah.
certification.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
to clarify, not to interrupt you, but to clarify, it's only things like ingredients. There's no,
Yes.
you're not signing up for animal testing.
no,
There's nothing like
yes,
that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're not an animal testing
No.
man, you know, so
No.
I think that's an important thing to... Do you think that the industry is moving towards... Obviously, the big conglomerates are always going to do it because they're never going to say no to China because they answer to shareholders.
Right.
And also, it's not just China. Everyone rages against China. There are other countries in the
Right.
world where you have to test that just slip under the map.
Right.
You know, they're like, don't mention that, you know. So do you sense, have you had pressure to go to China already? Do you sense that the industry knows, don't even bother asking independent brands because they'll say no because of public opinion? And also, by the way, to clarify, you would never test on animals, but the general, if you did, it would be career suicide.
Oh, right, yes, yeah, exactly. And I have received email, I mean, there are opportunities to go to China, and it's no. The brand doesn't need to, and no, that would never, I mean, that just never is. I mean, you know, I'm crazy about my cats and any animal, and like, I know. But no, it's just, I think it's so, in this day and age, it still kills me that it still exists.
Yeah, it's so
and, I mean, there's no, and you can be, like, I am my own animal. Half the time my skin is actually bad because I'm testing out new products which are maybe not for my skin or maybe too much for my skin.
Yeah, and you realise that that's tipped the balance and you have to go back
And what's cool is, like, you know, we're humans and we're going to sell it to another human, so that's like where we should test on, not animals.
Not a bunny.
Right.
Save the monies.
Right, exactly. That's nothing.
Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
And thank you for last night's dinner. And thank you for just continuously churning out the good stuff and fighting the good fight and not releasing a load of crap.
Well,
basically, just what I want to say.
And thank you for being the voice for all of us and allowing us to be known, and thank you.
My pleasure.
Wonderful.
And I wish you so much continued success. And get to the UK quickly.
We're coming!
Thank you, babe.
Thank you! Thank you, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Totally forgot you were there. Sorry.